All right. Okay, so we'll talk about draft one more time, obviously. So at this stage of the draft, Gwen gets picked in blind, and you know that the Gwen is always going to bin. All right, this is fine. B1 Jinx, and opponent goes Annie and Wukong. So we talked about on stream and the VOD reviews, especially yesterday with T1. If you want to beat Jinx, you basically have two options. You either have poke, or you have you have shield protect smork, and those are basically the things. Now, Annie counts as like half an enchanter because of her shields, and because of how the way that she engages and the way that she tears through front lines, and the fact that she can access back lines via Tibbers, and her utility, and the fact that she destroys mid ranges and these types of things. But Annie is very weak to long range at the same time, so she only has like one shot, one opportunity, right? Like a not bad Eminem song, but you guys know what I mean. Anyways, so with the Wukong, you have the Lulu. Now at this point, it's obvious that it's LPL. They're not gonna think about Varus. I think the Zeri ban is terrible. You should want Zeri to actually be picked. And the reason that you want Zeri to be picked is because as long as you weather the storm, you're golden. Because Zeri cannot do what Varus can in the early mid game. That is the area that you need to weather the storm. So when they end up, let me fast forward. Okay, so when they end up banning the Zeri, it's a huge blunder. It's a very, very big blunder by BLG. The Zeri can't do what Varus can do. Zeri will just end up going even in laning phase. Zeri cannot provide the type of value in early and mid game that Varus can provide. When you have these three, the opponent has these three, you must win early and mid. Xayah cannot do that. Xayah doesn't do anything. What the hell is Xayah's purpose here? The opponents aren't coming into you, you're going into them, so Xayah doesn't do anything. Xayah is not a proactive AD carry. She does not get picked proactively. This is not Scorched Lethality Xayah that lane bullies and puts opponents, 30 CS in the grave and then keeps building lethality items and keeps poking with like this really big range, and Jinx isn't in the meta and no one else can respond to her, and all this other great jazz. This is not that Xayah. So this is a scaling Xayah that builds, Gale Force or something. She is not a proactive AD carry. She's a reactionary AD carry. She is picked into hard engage. People don't just pick Xayah to pick Xayah. It does not make any sense. So this is an absolutely disgusting pick. She's a D tier champion when they pick her like this. It's just super bad. So as soon as they pick this, I think JDG's chances to win the game drop to something like 10%. Because this now means that these three picks are just really bad. They're in isolation from each other. It's just a total nonsense pick. Actually, similarly, it's very akin to game number 1 where the Jinx was really off theme for Ruler, but at least in that game it mattered less, but they were able to salvage it with the Nautilus pivot. So then when you move forward, the hovers that they were actually doing were really smart. There was the Viego hover. They ended up going Maokai again, and then they did the really dumb thing on Maokai again, where they built the AP Maokai, which I think is really bad because they had the Lulu, the Annie shields, and then they had the Scion, which would be able to tank it in the later stages of the game. So I think it's a very bad way to build Maokai, because you could see in the games, there was actually no way for the enemy team to play into the damage threat from the Jace and the Jinx. It was just too long range, it was too difficult to approach, etc. Self-counterpick Scion, I have no idea what they're thinking. And then when you move forward to some of the team fights, I'm just trying to think which one it actually was. Let me think. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So if you guys want to talk about team compositions, whoa, is this full screen? What is this? Yeah, what is going on here? What's it?
YouTube's bugging, bro.
That's weird. Oh, that's weird. What's going on? Oh. Oh, I got it. Wait. I don't know. Oh. What'd you? Oh, I got it. Okay. So you take a look at this standoff, okay? And then ask yourself what the champions can actually do. So Knight is dependent on Flash, obviously, to get some sort of an engage. And let's actually just play this in really slow mode, okay? Let's go to half speed, okay? Just to really take in how useless these champions are. And if you make the argument that it's okay that these champions need to do all these absolutely ridiculous things, then it's just really not okay. They can't approach. They're permanently taking damage. Jace is just whittling them down. This is a very reasonable game state, by the way. Gold score, totally even. Everything's fine. This is all reasonable. These are reasonable, practical situations. In fact, BLG should actually be more ahead in the majority of games. If you play these games out like 100 plus times, I think there's more situations that BLG is more ahead than they are right now in this game. And yet you can see how impossible it is for JDG's champions to approach BLG's. It's so ridiculous, the standoffs between these 5 champions against one another at this level of play. It's so easy for BLGs to just hold concaves, keep poking, and it's just so ridiculous. And I mean, the items are totally fine. Everyone's at breakpoints. Annie's at a breakpoint. This is one of the closest times that these champions are ever going to be to one another, and there's just literally nothing JDGs can do. But again, people all all year long and stuff, I will try to preach about draft, importance and all this other type of stuff. And here we are, we're watching Gen G, we're watching T1, BLG now, all throughout the tournament. And we saw G2 almost take down BLG with really good draft edges, and you looked at how close those games were. If you remember, right, Yagao's flash charm onto Hansama, literally right here, that literally turned one of the games. G2 maybe could have beat BLG in that series. Draft super, super, super important this entire tournament because game states like this are so consistent and almost so promised, and they keep happening, but just no one cares about draft. It's really funny. But
I do.
I love you.
I care about draft a lot.
You said you're getting married in September, not on my watch. What?
Hey, I didn't say who I was getting married to.
cut the camera. Shit. Shit. All right, let's get ready to go back. I don't know what's going on with.
We're Verizon adding. Yeah.